Good morning from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm at Lafayette Village here. Um, I am hoping that this music isn't going to be too loud. I got dinged one time for that, and it wasn't even music that I was playing. It just happened to be around. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the Batman Mystery Club because which is it's supposed to be an old time radio program, and I was actually when I heard about it, because I was looking to see if there was old time radio with Batman, because you had it with Superman, you had it with the Green Hornet, I guess the Shadow, if you want to count him as a superhero, so why not Batman, right? And so I found the Batman Mystery Club. Well, now, it turned out there were several issues. One of them was apparently it just was a pilot from September, if you will, 5th, 1950. So that was a while ago. If my memory serves me correct, I believe it was about under 13 minutes, I think. And so, so that's all you had. It almost reminded me more of Scooby-Doo than it did Batman. Basically they try to expose, if you will, people as phonies and fakes. Looks like according to the 12 to 13 minutes that I heard, and that's all we have, right? I might be able to draw some similarities with Blackstone as well. The magician, the magician detective, if you remember that, if you will, radio series. But yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. Okay, so there were quite a few interesting details here. One of them was, I'll be honest with you, I wished it had continued. Because I definitely wanted to hear the mystery through. It was the mystery. The only mystery that they had was the ghost of Dunfrey Hall. For whatever reason, it seemed like people kept dying. Between 12 o'clock midnight and 12:30 a.m. That's for whatever reason they just tended to die in this home. And this guy was trying to sell the home. He needed the money. So at any rate, apparently it starts out with Batman. For one thing, what is interesting is, it's a bunch of kids in the club, and you have Robin introducing Batman, but saying Batman, also known as, Bruce Wayne, better known as the Batman. Why would you tell people that? So in other words, you just blown your cover to people. Even the kids, you just blown your cover. Just say Batman. You're not saying, hi, I'm Robin, aka Dick Grayson. So why on earth would you do that? Was the part that was interesting to me. And then apparently there was supposed to be a previous mystery that they talked about. Apparently it was a spiritual medium who they kind of busted. But unfortunately, this will be lost in perpetuity because they never filmed it. They never not filmed it. I'm sorry, but never they never captured it on tape. So unfortunately, we just won't know too much about it. But then what was interesting to me going forward was that he talks about, being overseas, apparently to what appeared to be Great Britain. And they're at this castle, Dumfries Hall. And he mentions, that it is him. Apparently they turn off the lights as they're telling the story. Supposedly. Of course, we won't know, it's a radio program. But anyway, he's telling the story, that it is him as Bruce Wayne, and a few people in and Robin. You have the patriarch of the hall. You have a lady, another dude, another fella, and Robin. Which also was curious, because why wouldn't Batman, if he will, be with Robin, and they're drinking and drinking tea and that type of thing, and so Robin's in his what appears to be apparently his uniform, and he's sitting there and he's listening, and apparently the guy's trying to get rid of the hall. Now, here's what's also interesting. I don't know, as a perspective as a historian. The gentleman who owns the hall considered himself to be a poor man. He said he had lots of estates, but the estates didn't make him money, cost him money. Now, that's interesting because, of course, throughout, much of time, I'd say certainly during the 19th century, the 19th century, 18th century, 16th century, and then down forward, and then down back. Great Britain, and in many places, guess how wealth was determined? Guess what was a marker of wealth? Land. So I thought that was an interesting take. And of course, by the time you get to the 20th century, that might be less and less so, right? You're looking for a little bit more liquidity, cash flow, that type of thing. But that was interesting. So at any rate, the guy's trying to prove that it's a fake, that this ghost really doesn't exist, that these people may have died, but just natural causes, nothing, there's no ghost that caused them to die. And Bruce Wayne had explained to Robin, hey, Robin, we've been trying to explain this for years. Well, now, isn't that interesting? Because now I'm thinking, well, my goodness, these people don't know that this man's cover is blown? If you're mentioning that and that you've been working with Robin for years to expose things, then I'm thinking, well, okay, is Bruce Wayne possibly Batman? Okay, well, in the end, they go into, if you will, he goes into the door in this room where death is supposed to happen. The patriarch, the owner of this hall, he goes in, and for a little while things are cool, but then he doesn't hear anything. Then you can't hear anything from him. And so people are like, well, what's happening? If you will, to this gentleman. And so Bruce Wayne goes in and it's like, oh my goodness, he's like, no one else going to this room. Well, now, here's another thing. Well, you have Robin in his costume. Robin's a superhero. Why doesn't Robin go in? Because Bruce Wayne's not a superhero. At least people don't know Bruce Wayne to be a superhero. So why do this? I'm thinking, don't these people realize the man's cover's blown? Well, at any rate, and then it ends from that. It ends in a cliffhanger. You don't know what happens next. You don't know if the guy was knocked out, if he disappeared, if he was straight up dead. The owner of the estate, and it just stops it there. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting one. Like I said, there were lots of flaws, but boy, did I want to hear. It would have kept my interest, I would imagine, for several episodes, if not for longer. Anyway, I'm not sure if anyone else has, heard it, got anything to say about it, may have a better critique about it than I do. But anyway, that's my time. I appreciate it if anyone is listening to this. Like I said, there's a good chance that I might be the only one listening to it. That's cool. I kind of like hearing myself talk, so that's fine. But at any rate, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day or night whenever you are listening and watching this. Take care and have yourself a wonderful day or night. Bye-bye.